Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the GE dryer igniter assembly. It's going to be a very easy repair and it should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new igniter assembly. The dryer igniter is what actually gets hot and ignites the gas in the dryer. The main reason you'd be changing it out is if it's burnt out. First thing we have to do is remove the console screws. They're on the top, they're torque 20, and we're going to take all 4 of them out. Now that we have the screws out, we can tilt the console forward and lift it up a little bit to get these tabs out of the top so we can take the top off later. Next we can open up the door and we have to remove the 2 screws that hold the top panel to the front panel. They're Phillips screws, so we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver. Now that we have the screws out, we can close the dryer door. Now we can lift the top off. All you have to do is lift up on a little bit and then pull towards you so the top releases, and then you can lift it off. Now we can take off the screws that hold on the front panel. They're Phillips screws. There's 1 in each side. Now that we have the screws out, we can pull the front panel forward and lift it off the mounting tabs at the bottom and spin it out of the way so we can work on it. Now that we have the front off the dryer, we can remove these 2 screws. This will allow the panels to flex out a little bit so we can get the drum out. If you're taking the drum out and the belt is still on, we're going to have to reach in and take the belt off the idler pulley and the motor pulley. So we're going to lift up on the drum a little bit and reach in with this hand and grab the idler pulley and pull it down towards the bottom of the machine, towards the middle. That's going to release the tension on the belt. Then we can reach in with this hand and take it off the motor pulley. Now we're going to lift out the drum. We can grab the belt and lift up on it and guide it out the front of the dryer. Now that we have the drum out, we can go down to the right-hand side of the dryer. This is where the gas valve and the igniter is. We're going to use a stubby Phillips screwdriver to reach in and take this screw out that holds the igniter in place. Once you have it out, you can reach down and pull the igniter out. Now that you have the igniter up, you can take a small flathead screwdriver and disconnect the wire harness. Here's the old igniter assembly next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. Now remember, when you're putting these in, this gray part is very fragile, so don't touch it or bang it against anything. Now we can plug the new igniter in. And very carefully feed the igniter back up into the burner tube and mount the igniter so we can put the screw in. Once you have the igniter mounted, you can put back in the Phillips screw. Now we can put the drum back in the dryer. We're going to lift up by the belt and guide it back into the body, making sure that the shaft goes into the support at the back of the dryer. Now we can route the belt back through the pulleys. So basically you'd have the belt hanging down. You'd have to pull the idler pulley down while making a loop with this hand, keeping the belt on the idler pulley, and then looping it around the motor pulley. Now we can put in the 2 screws that hold the front panel to the silver plate. Then we can put the front panel back on and set it onto the tabs at the bottom. And put the screws in. When you put the top on, you need to make sure that the top piece here goes underneath this piece, and make sure that this tab goes up into this slot. Now we can open up the dryer door and replace the 2 long screws that holds the top to the front. All you have to do is push them up into the hole and make sure they go into the top and tighten them down. And we can close the door. All right, then we can put the control panel back on. So we can lift it up and line up the 3 tabs and push them down into the slot. And then we can put in the 4 Torx 20 screws that hold it in place. Now that we have everything back together, we can plug it back in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.